The assignment notification flickered across Engineer Tom Blake's datapad as he finished recalibrating the primary fusion reactor aboard the UGC Defiant. His stomach dropped when he read the housing manifest. Shared quarters with Commander Vex of the Kithan Republic. The war against the Devourers had created strange bedfellows among former enemies, but this felt like administrative cruelty. Tom had heard the stories about Kithan officers. 7 feet tall with chitinous armor plating, 4 arms capable of crushing steel, and a reputation for military precision that bordered on obsession. The galaxy's most feared warriors had joined the United Galactic Coalition only after the Devourer. Fleets had consumed 3 of their outer colonies. When Tom arrived at Deck 7, Section C, he found the quarters already occupied. Commander Vex stood motionless before a viewport, all 4 hands clasped behind his segmented back. The aliens. Natural armor gleamed dull blue under the ship's lighting, and his elongated skull suggested enhanced cranial capacity. Tom noticed immediately that Vex had claimed only the left half of the room, leaving the right side completely untouched. Engineer Blake. Vex spoke without turning, his voice carrying the characteristic harmonic undertones of his species. I have reviewed your service record. Your modifications to the reactor efficiency systems increased output by 12% during the Battle of Proxima. Tom set down his ear carefully. Thank you, Commander. I read about your tactical coordination. At the Siege of Kronos, the maneuver you pulled with the asteroid field was brilliant. Vex finally turned, revealing compound eyes that seemed to analyze everything simultaneously. Humans possess an unusual capacity for improvisation. My people value this trait, though. We struggle to replicate it. The first few days proved challenging. Vex maintained a schedule precise to the minute, rising at 0600 hour ship time, performing physical conditioning exercises that involved lifting weights Tom couldn't budge, and studying tactical reports until exactly 2,300 hours. Meanwhile, Tom worked irregular shifts responding to engineering emergencies, often returning to quarters at random hours covered in coolant or reactor lubricant. Their first real conversation occurred during a ship-wide power fluctuation. Tom rushed back to quarters to grab diagnostic equipment and found Vex analyzing energy readings on a portable terminal. The power drain originates from Section 12. Vex observed. However, the pattern suggests deliberate sabotage rather than system failure. Tom paused, studying the data. You're right, but look at this harmonic signature. It's not sabotage. It's resonance feedback from the new graviton. Shield generators. They're operating at the wrong frequency. Working together, they traced the problem through the ship's systems. Vex's Tactical 9 identified patterns, while Tom's engineering intuition suggested solutions. Within 2 hours, they had isolated the issue and developed a fix that required both tactical coordination and technical expertise. Your species approaches problems from unexpected angles, Vex commented as they finished the repairs. We Kithans pride ourselves on logical analysis. But you see connections we miss. Your people have something we lack, though, Tom replied, checking the final power readings. You can hold multiple complex scenarios in your mind simultaneously. I watched you track 17 different system interactions while I could barely follow 3. The emergency had broken some invisible barrier between them. They began sharing meals when their schedules aligned, comparing notes on ship operations and tactical requirements. Vex proved surprisingly curious about human culture, particularly their tendency toward what he called beneficial chaos. Your engineers modified designs during construction, Vex observed one evening as they reviewed ship schematics. Kithan. Protocols require final approval before any changes. Yet your adaptations consistently improve performance. Tom laughed. We call it field expedient solutions. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts and make things work with whatever you have. Their partnership truly solidified during the Battle of the Helix Nebula. The Devourer fleet had trapped the Coalition forces in a gravity well, using the nebula's charged particles to disrupt long-range communications. Standard tactical doctrine called for a coordinated withdrawal, but the refugee convoy they were protecting couldn't match fleet speed. In the command center, Admiral Kane studied the tactical display with growing frustration. "We need options, people. The Devourers have us boxed in." Tom and Vex had been working together on power distribution modifications when the battle alert sounded. As they rushed to their stations, Tom noticed something about the nebula's particle density readings. "Commander," he said, grabbing Vex's arm, "those charged particles disrupting our communications. What if we could use them as a weapon?" Vex's compound eyes focused intently. "Explain." "The nebula has massive electrical potential. If we could create a controlled discharge through the Devourer formation, it would overwhelm their shields. But we'd need precise timing and coordination between multiple ships. The tactical complexity would be enormous," Vex mused. "Each vessel would need to fire at exact intervals while maintaining specific positions relative to the particle streams." They presented their plan to Admiral Kane, who listened with growing interest. The strategy required Tom's engineering modifications to channel the ship's power output and Vex's tactical coordination to position the fleet elements. It was ambitious, risky, and completely unprecedented. "Do it," Kane decided. "We don't have better options." The next hour tested both their skills and their partnership. Tom rerouted power systems throughout the fleet, creating focused energy beams that could trigger particle cascades. Vex calculated firing solutions for 37 ships while accounting for the nebula's shifting energy patterns. They worked in perfect synchronization, Tom's intuitive adaptations complementing Vex's mathematical precision. When they executed the plan, the results exceeded all expectations. The controlled particle discharge tore through the Devourer fleet like a galactic lightning storm, overwhelming their organic shields and leaving them vulnerable to conventional weapons. The Coalition forces broke free and escorted the refugees to safety. Later, as they sat in their shared quarters, both exhausted but victorious, Tom raised a glass of recycled coffee in salute to beneficial chaos and logical precision. Vex lifted his own cup of Kithan nutrient solution to partnerships that transcend species boundaries. "You know," Tom said thoughtfully, "when this war ends and we're not stuck sharing quarters anymore, I'm going to miss having someone who can calculate 17 variables while I'm still figuring out the first one." "Perhaps," Vex replied with what Tom had learned to recognize as Kithan humor, "we should request permanent assignment together. The galaxy appears to benefit when humans and Kithans combine their strengths." Tom smiled, looking out at the stars beyond their viewport. The war against the Devourers continued, but humanity had proven once again that their greatest strength lay not in their technology or tactics, but in their ability to forge bonds across the vast differences that separated species. In doing so, they had created something greater than either could achieve alone. The unlikely partnership between Engineer Blake and Commander Vex would become legendary throughout the Coalition fleet, inspiring similar collaborations that would ultimately prove decisive in the war's final battles.